Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Odell. I just got finished uploading. Well, there's another video that I'm uploading with Transformers, but you guys will end up seeing that when it pops up. YouTube is taking a while to load things up. Uh, all I can say is fucking mind blowing. I really wasn't expecting to see. I thought it was just Sarang's work only. And I'm just gonna say Kim because I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but I thought it was just his work only. But apparently, you had a whole bunch of other artists up there. A lot of them were kind of girlyish, little kids type stuff. So I really didn't want to, not trying to see that shit. But the the Iron Man, I mean, that whole diorama was just bananas. I'm sitting there. I think I went back to there like 3 times and looked at their whole setup. The Dark Knight setup that they had. I mean, all of that had to cost big money because you're talking about getting a tumbler and you're talking about taking that thing apart just so they can have some type of display where you can see the inside of the tumbler. And like in the Batcave, with the different suits and everything, if you looked at it, I mean, it looked like they got the Dark Knight costume and like took it apart and placed pieces up on the wall and everything like that. So, um, whoever basically came up with that ideal, they put a lot of money into it, obviously, but the work was off the chain. Kim's work, man, if he could just, how should I say, if his artistic ability could be placed towards Hot Toys, Hot Toys wouldn't be having no complaints. Probably the only complaints would be the price. And me and him talked about it, and I got a couple of messages asking for me to put them on camera. I'm not really the type that walks up on somebody and puts a camera in their face, so I really didn't want to sit there and do that unless he was, unless he wasn't cool with it. Uh, I'll probably roll up there again tomorrow, and if he is, then I'll sit there and I'll do a video with it. His English is pretty good. Um, his work is just off the chain. I mean, you guys can look at that platoon setup, and all of that is his work. None of it is Hot Toys at all. So look at the platoon setup, and then look at Hot Toys platoon. Blows it out the fucking water. The Saving Private Ryan, that shit was just incredible. Uh, he has Tom. He has a couple of head sculpts that he's basically selling on the side. They're about like $50 a piece. He has a couple of Spartacus head sculpts. He has Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, uh, House, and a couple of Yodas. If you saw in the video, um, a couple of those figures in the far left, when you look at it, was a lot of Tom Cruise from the movie Valkyrie. Valkyrie, I hope I pronounced that right. And then the other one was from War of the Worlds. Head sculpt was just bananas. You guys will see that. Spartacus, the champion version, the warrior version. Unfortunately, I got lucky. After me and him talked for a little bit, he's going to hook a brother up with the accessories to the champion version and the warrior version. So all I really need now is, I mean, I got the head sculpts. I've got the Leonidas bodies. So he's going to provide everything else painted up, and everything's probably going to be a grip of money. I'm expecting for it to be a grip of money. But those are the two figures that I want. I'm going to ask him if he does have time to hook me up a Gladiator version. Um, he he basically was sitting there just saying like his work, like he can do a head sculpt of anybody within either a couple of days to a week. If it's really challenging for him, the longest it'll probably take is a month. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, if it takes you a couple of days to do literally a head sculpt, I'm gonna, I'm like, look, if you can give me like 4 days of your time, I will pay whatever to get some of these head sculpts done. I mean, granted, the fact, hey, I like how they did with The Rock, but I want the Rock version of WWE back in the day when he had the sideburns coming down. I really want that, and if that's something that he can knock out real quick, uh, I really that's something that I really do want. So, um, we're gonna talk more on the side when I grab this stuff for the Spartacus. I think he said the fastest he can get it done with the accessories is within a couple of weeks. Now I don't know if he's doing this, if he'll be offering this to other people. All those figures that you saw on his shelf, they're not for sale. Unless you're walking up in there with Lil Wayne's money and like, hey, I'll pay you $5,000 for these two figures right here. Unless you're walking in there doing that, then he'll probably sit there and he might sit there and sell it. But like the Spartacus, those are his only two that he has left. He mentioned about how the difficulty is with that Spartacus because it's a Leonidas body, and we all know that the uh, the Leonidas body is pretty hard to get your hands on these unless you literally buy the King Leonidas and you just strip everything else down and you just take the body. So, but even that is like almost $400 to $500. So, finding this bad boy is pretty tough. Um, I've got everything that I need. I've got pretty much all the bodies that I need to make the three versions of Spartacus that I want. But he was saying that basically the reason why he doesn't produce any more Spartacus is because of that body. He prefers to use that type of body, and since it's very hard to get your hands on it, then he doesn't put it out anymore. The Saving Private Ryan, I believe he said he might reissue those out again. Not really too sure about it. House, I think House is available on his website. I can't remember if he said if it was or if it wasn't. But yes, he is very expensive. But you know what? I mean, a figure from him is probably somewhere around Rain Man's prices, maybe around $1,000 or so. But compare his work to Hot Toys. It's fucking amazing. And if you guys are really into this shit, then you dish up the money and go on ahead and uh, pay the cost on that. So I'm very lucky that he's willing to work with me and try to get these pieces to Spartacus because I had no fucking clue how I was going to sit there and do that. So his upcoming projects, he said in January, will be the Beatles first. I'm not really too big. I'm not a big Beatle fan, but here's the thing: that's history. The Beatles, of course, was one of the best rock groups, back in the day. Uh, Hell, people still listen to them today. Even though I never listened to any of their music, the fact is, it's the fucking Beatles. Uh, that's going to be part of my collection. I'm copping that. Just like Interbay just dropped that Elvis figure, and I've listened to a couple of Elvis songs, but that dude's a fucking legend. And if you look at the piece that Interbay did, is off the fucking chain. So if you guys haven't seen it, look up on Interbay and check it out. It's definitely a piece to grab. Jimi Hendrix, yes, late January, early February. Hopefully he'll have it done before I leave this bitch, so I can go up there and pick it up. But Jimi fucking Hendrix is gonna be off the chain. I think he said he's only doing 10 of them, and the only reason why he's only doing 10 of them is because the material, the clothing that he's trying to do, he's trying to go aphrodisiac, way back in the day with the clothing, and the pattern and everything is very difficult to make. So expect for that figure to be up in the thousands. I'm not saying 2,000s, but maybe around 1,000 for that figure. Uh, Excuse me, maybe even more. I don't know for sure. Uh, then he said later on he'll do a Blade Runner. He's gonna do William from Braveheart. Uh, I guess his name was William. I don't know, but he's gonna do a Braveheart. Um, he had a couple. He had a couple lists of things. That, think yeah, he said he was gonna do an Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I kind of wanted to tell him, dude, no. You know, there's plenty of Obi-Wan Kenobis out there, and Hot Toys is already redoing the Star Wars line. So I'm like, don't do an Obi-Wan Kenobi. Do something that's different. That's not out there available for the public. You know, I told him about Bane. I was like, man, if you do a Bane figure right now, if you can just grab footage of what you can see right now and you put a Bane figure out, you will sell all copies that you make. He basically was sitting there saying that he believes Hot Toys will come out with it because Hot Toys now is already uh, looking into making the Amazing Spider-Man figure. So, you know, and I was just sitting there and I was just like, see, this is the shit that Hot Toys needs to jump into and needs to start making as a whole bunch of different figures. Don't come out with the milk version of War Machine. Don't the Black Spider-Man is cool. I like it. I will get it. But again, I sit there and I look at him like you did a Tobey Maguire head sculpt. Why didn't you provide it with the original one? But I guarantee you, after seeing these dioramas and what these artists are doing with these figures, somebody's going to get the original, the red and blue Spider-Man. They're going to cut the mask off, take that head off, and place Tobey Maguire's head on it. And then they're probably going to get the mask. They're probably going to cut around it, take the mask off, pop the head off, put a Tobey Maguire's head on it, and then they may do a who knows, they may sit there and do a scene of him, you know, sitting on top of the edge of a building, you know, squatting down with a Tobey Maguire head sculpt, and he's sitting here holding the mask because you don't have to put the mask on, but you can have it. See, I just gave you an idea of what to do, but you'll have to go buy yourself another Hot Toy Spider-Man figure. I'm gonna do it as soon as this Tobey Maguire sculpt pops out. That I mean, shit, that's something right away to sit there and do. So, uh, yeah, I'm doing it. So, just get a fine razor blade and just cut just along underneath the mask, and it shouldn't even cut it to the point where it shouldn't even affect, or you shouldn't really see. If you do it really well, then you can cut all the way around it, and you can make it happen. So I mean, hell, look what I did, and this is just me. This is just me fucking sitting back and just being like, hey, you know what? Rocky is the man. Love the movies. Um, yeah, it's on Leonidas stand, but oh well. Uh, love the movies and all. So, I want a street version of Rocky. I know that's not what he looked like at all. This is my retirement Rocky right here. This is not current Rocky fighting whatever. This is Rocky out of retirement, always the champ. So, I did my little version of that piece, and I'm gonna do one last version of Rocky, and I'm not gonna really tell you guys specifically what it is, but I'm gonna call it um, a man at work. That's what I'll call my display when I get everything in, and I show you guys what I'm talking about. It's gonna be killer. You'll like it. Uh, so yeah, I walked over from Kim's section over to Rain Man's section, and I never really saw the Back to the Future Marty McFly like fully, done. I've only saw bits and pieces. That and bastard, he already sold out of all that shit. So, um, I'm gonna have to try and con. If I go up there tomorrow, I'm gonna see if I can con him to making one more. MRA, I got your MRA. I got your message as far as with one girl. I don't know if he's selling any of those figures. Like I said, everybody that's selling their or displaying their stuff up there is just for display only and not for sale. So I don't believe that he is. I'll send him a message tonight on Facebook and I'll ask him. I'm sure I didn't meet Rain Man because I didn't know what the dude looked like. I didn't know if he was one of the dudes up there. I was gonna ask, but I was too busy in a conversation with Kim. So when I went over there, I just recorded everything. I can't remember if I recorded Selena from Underworld. I got so many different video footages, so I'm not Spike Lee, so I'll probably upload another video that I took of everything. And but who gives a shit? You know, the more that you see, the better. Uh, but again, I don't know if he is selling any of those things, if anybody, if Kim or Rain Man, if they are actually selling any of the stuff that they do have on display. If they do, um, I mean, you're gonna have to come out of pocket. You're seriously gonna have to come out of pocket for that. So um, I'll probably go up there tomorrow. I just need to see what my schedule is gonna look like because it took a minute to get up there. I mean, to get to Seoul, it only takes about an hour from where I'm at, but to get from Seoul over to where he was at, the traffic was fucking bananas. So uh, here it is, 11 o'clock at night, and I just got back in like an hour ago. So um, I'll see if I'm gonna roll up there tomorrow. And I'm cool with Kim. Me and him, we already talked about specifically what was gonna happen, but I do. I am thinking about getting a couple of head sculpts. I have two Spartacus head sculpts. I need one more for the Gladiator version. And he had some Tom Cruise head sculpts that I really liked. And he had his House head sculpts as well. And I want to get House. My only problem is the clothing. I have to see if he has the clothing available because a lot of it he has a professional tailor that does his clothes. And if you look at the display in those videos, you're not going to find those clothes on eBay or anywhere else. So if I can get help with if he can hook me up with the clothes, I'm gonna do a I am gonna do a House version. Tom Cruise. I'm probably gonna go back up there and get a Tom Cruise. It all depends because if he still has some left, which I think he may have some left because $50 a head sculpt. Uh, there were some people buying, but not a lot of people buying. I think he'll have some left over, so I'll ask him if he can mail it out to me rather than going back up there. So this Transformers display, you'll see that Shockwave, whoever did Shockwave on there, fucking amazing. And you'll see, and then you'll see a Predator setup. Whoever did the Predator setup, I mean, I can understand where they were going, but it was kind of cheesy the way they had the hanging bodies, and it was looked like the hanging bodies were skinned, but they weren't skinned. They were just regular Hot Toy bodies, just painted red. So it kind of looked a little cheesy. But you know, to each his own. You know, everybody's got their way of displaying stuff. But that Iron Man setup, Wayne's Butler. Uh, all I've got to say is, if you want a really big challenge, and you just saw that video of the Dark Knight with how how everything was displayed, like supposing I guess the Batcave, and then you had Tony Stark's downstairs. I was actually thinking about doing, when I get back home, of course, a whole section of uh, his stuff, of Tony Stark's like basement, like literally have all the Iron Man set up, his table, his workbench, have a couple of trying to see if I can get my hands on a couple of 1/6, maybe 1/10 scale exotic cars like a Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever I can get my hands on, and put them down there as well. Make a section of the Batcave, uh, because of the fact that I have the tumbler. I don't have the motorcycle. I'm still in the works of getting that. And I mean, to me, that would be something that would be the interrogation room off the chain. But something like that, I would definitely like to see you put some work, some thought into that and see what you can do with that. Um, Other than that, that is it. My Bruce Wayne sculpt should be in hopefully by next week. And yeah, I mean, I know it's a sin to recast. I'm recasting for myself. I'm not recasting his work to put out on the market and sell. I ain't doing that shit. I'm just getting it recast for myself because again, after seeing like a diorama like that, you can do different versions of Bruce Wayne, like in the bat suit, outside the bat suit, whatever. But hands down, that is the best Bruce Christian Bale sculpt out there. Hot Toys, yeah, their Hot Toys is the new one that came out. Yeah, it's good, but this one that Adam did is off the chain. So as soon as that gets in, I'm trying to find some painters that are decent. Kim is up and willing to paint, but I think he charges like 120 per head. So unless I can work a deal with him, if I say, hey, if I give you 3 or 4 heads, what type of deal can you give me? There are a couple other good artists that are over in the UK that I can send them to. Sean, I don't know, there's some Sean Job or something, whatever, on Sideshow Freaks. I'm trying to get a hold of him and see if he can hook a brother up. Silent Surfer, I know he can do it, but I think he charges like 150. So I'm not trying to go out the yin yang, to pay to get a head sculpt done. 150. I built this figure up under $200. Under $200, this is what I built up. All right. And that's just going off of eBay and just grabbing bits by bit, bits by bit, or bits of, pieces, and just put them together. So, um, yeah, 150. I'm cool with the dudes over in the UK who's talking $50 for right now. So, um, yeah, so stay tuned for that. And last but not least, because I'm going on 23 minutes, I'm just rambling at the mouth. The Joker 2.0. I'm very curious to see, and this is a DX version. I'm very, very curious to see what this is because I've seen The Dark Knight. I've seen that movie like 4 or 5 times now. I don't know what other version they can possibly do. They've done the nurse version. They've done the police version. They've done the version of him when he showed up to the meeting. I don't quite see. They've done the bank robber version. I don't quite see what else they can possibly do in creating another Joker. So with this, I'm very curious. I'm would love to see this come out very soon. I want to see if they wasted their time or if they did not waste their time. So I'm very curious about it. Right now, I'm kind of leaning to somebody's trying to be creative and trying to do something. So I'm kind of thinking, you kind of just wasted your time. I mean, I understand the Joker is the Joker. He was the main uh, character in there, the arch enemy, character. But I mean, they did one fucking Two Face, and that was it, and that was fine. That figure is fine, but the Joker. I can understand doing, multiple versions because there were different versions of him, but 2.0. So I'm very curious to see what this 2.0 is right now. I'm not getting hyped up about it. Uh, I'm not. I'm just curious, really curious to see that. So with that, anybody else got any questions they want to ask me? PM me, Magnus. I'll check out. You sent me a Facebook message. I'll check that out. Um, Other than that, may not do a video tomorrow unless I go back up there or whatever. But in case I don't, happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. This sucks that my ass is here in freaking Korea, missing out on another Christmas. So I will celebrate my Christmas when I get home in a month. And I think I got a month and 2 weeks left. Thank God. All right, y'all. Deuces.